Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're taking a look at Intermediate Algebra Part B, Lesson 5. I'm going to show you how to do um, some of those problems, show you how to simplify them so that you can submit these for a great score. Let's take a look at some similar examples here. Um, I'm just going to kind of do 5 examples. They're similar to ones in the problem. You'll kind of notice which ones they are, so I'm not going to kind of number them. I'm just going to go through them as we go. So here's an example here. And what I notice here is I've got a fraction. And what I need to do is I need to just combine what I can combine. So if I look at the numerator, I've got 7x plus 8x. So that's 15x. And then I've got 10x as a denominator. And so now all I've got to do is simplify this. Well, some things that I've noticed here, these x's are in common. They're going to cancel each other out for this particular problem. Because no matter what x is, it's going to cancel out. And then all I've got to do is I've got to simplify 10 over 15 or 15 over 10. 15 over 10, if I divide by 5, will leave me with 3 over 2. And that's all you got to do. So that's real similar. I think that's number 1 in the lesson. But, like I said, I'm just going to do some examples to try to help you out here. So here's the next example. So what I'm going to do here is I can't combine these terms because this has an x squared and this has an x. That means they're not like terms. So the only thing I can do to simplify is to separate this fraction. So I'm going to have 18x squared over 9 minus 27x over 9. And now I can reduce each one individually. So if I take a look at this first one, I don't have any variables, so no variables cancel, but I can reduce 18 over 9. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So this turns into 2x squared. I'll do the same thing for the second term. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And so there you go. That's it. It's a done deal. Let's take a look at our next example. Okay, this is similar to the last one. This time we have a variable dev, so that's why I kind of wanted to show you this one as well. So we're going to separate this just like we did the last time. We're going to have 8x to the 6 over 36x plus 12x cubed over 36x. And now here I've got variables and I've got, let me put my x there. I've got variables and I have numbers, so I'm going to look to reduce the numbers first. So what do 8 and 36 have in common? They're both divisible by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So that'll reduce to 2/9. Now I'll take a look at the variables. Well, that has an exponent of 1. This has an exponent of 6. Remember the rule we learned for dividing, we subtract our exponents. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So it'll be x to the 5th power. Same thing in the second one. I'm going to reduce the fractions. What do 12 and 36 have in common? Well, they're both divisible by 3, 4, 6. But they're also divisible by 12. 12 goes into 36. So what's 12 divided by 12? Well, that's 1. What's 36 divided by 6? That's 3. And so now I just look at the variables. Again, that's a 1. So I'm going to subtract exponents. That'll leave me x squared as a numerator. And that's a perfectly good answer right there, folks. That's all you got to do. All right. Just a couple more. And here, real similar to some of the other ones, what we're going to do here is we're going to separate this out. 21x to the 4th y cubed over 7xy. And we'll do that for each of the other terms. And now I just look to simplify each fraction. So I'm going to simplify each fraction individually. Look here, 21 divided by 7, that's 3. Look at my exponents here. These both have a 1, so x to the fourth minus x to the first is x cubed. X cubed, or excuse me, y cubed and y to the first, that becomes y squared. Look at the second term. Look at that. Those are going to cancel each other out and just leave you with 14 divided by 7, which is 2. Look at these. 35 divided by 7, that's 5. Look at these, the x's. Those are going to cancel each other out because they're exactly the same. Then I have y cubed over y to the first, which will leave me with y squared. And there's actually a couple problems just like that one in the lesson, and that's really all you got to do. Work each part, reducing each fraction individually, and then that's going to be your answer. And on this one, if you get something, let's say I have 14xy over 14xy, that does not equal 0. That equals 1. So if you get a case where you got the same exact thing, those cancel out, but yes, there's something still has to be left there, and you have to leave a 1 there. So pay attention to that while you're doing the lesson. And the last example. Now, this one looks like it's the most difficult thing in the world, but it's really probably the easiest one of the lesson, because if you look, all of these things are exactly the same. So now if I separated it like I did the last examples, look what happens. This whole thing cancels this thing. So those cancel. This thing cancels this thing. So what's left? 5 minus 2x. And folks, that is a done deal. So like I said, this one's probably one of the easiest ones to do. So I hope this helps you with lesson, I think it was lesson 8. Let's go back and take a look real quick. I got it right there. And it's lesson 5. So I hope this helps you with lesson 5 in Intermediate Algebra Part B. If not, please let me know in a teacher message or set up an appointment for a help session.